Hello, virtuous thought leaders, scholars, and virtue change agents. My name is Dr. Lisa Marie Portugal, and I am the Leadership Architect. I have a new talk prepared for you and in service to you and your goals. This talk is out of one of my books called A Culture of Excellence, Virtuous Leadership Principles for Organizational Success, a Management System. And on the cover slide, that is also the cover of the book, the 4 cardinal virtues: prudence, justice, fortitude, and temperance. This talk is part 1 of a 2-part series. It is called Americans Doing Business with Eastern Cultures. And there is my logo and my leadership brand. Obviously, I have all of the virtues listed there, and I am a big proponent of talking about virtue building so that we can create a culture of excellence. All right, table of contents, my about page, Americans Doing Business with Eastern Cultures, Issues, Challenges, and Opportunities, East meets West, Virtue Ethics, Confucian and Aristotelian Philosophy, and then conclusion and references. And like I said, remember this is a 2-part series. Okay, so there is my about page, and if you follow me, you know that I am all about promoting and developing and fostering a culture of excellence everywhere we are, in everything that we do. Okay, so let's take a look at this. I made this little graphic here for you. For Americans Doing Business with Eastern Cultures, Issues, Challenges, and Opportunities, we have philosophy in the center, right? So there's Eastern philosophy and Western philosophy. Christianity comes out of Western philosophy, Aristotelian philosophy to be specific. Okay, so we have philosophy in the center. And what does philosophy do for us? It helps us understand and interpret some of these questions that I have here for you. Ethics, what is value? Aesthetics, what is beauty? And I had mentioned in the talk before this that beauty leads us back to God. So we want to promote beauty in everything that we do. Nature is beautiful, clearly, and that leads us to God. So that's the aesthetics part of philosophy. Logic, how do we reason, right? Eastern and Western philosophies are very different. Political philosophy, how should societies be governed? This is another reason why philosophy is so important to us, or should be, as a foundation, and it is a foundation to our Christianity, because it's going to govern how we decide we want to live, what we want our societies to look like, what we want our politics to express as an extension of who we are as Christians, right? Epistemology, what do we know? How do we know it? Okay, and then metaphysics, what is real? So this is something that is very different in Eastern and Western philosophies. What is real to us as Christians, right? So let me get into the narration here. So this discussion examines the issues, challenges, opportunities that may be present when leaders and organizations from a Western capitalist culture interact and do business with individuals with Eastern culture, values, and beliefs. The discussion presents beliefs and values from a Western capitalist culture perspective to assist Asian region leaders and organizations in understanding how Western culture individuals think and operate. In addition, Eastern culture, values, and beliefs are presented to compare and contrast where common ground might be found when working with both mindsets in a business context. Topics examined include East meets West virtue ethics, Confucian and Aristotelian philosophy, interpreting and discriminating diverse ethical and moral perspectives, and incorporating value-driven and ethical perspectives into organizational research. East meets West, virtue ethics, Confucian and Aristotelian philosophy. So let's take a look at this graphic, because this is a side-by-side. It's very interesting, kind of shows us the differences here. On the Western side, we have where there is a spiritual reality and a physical one. They are separate. On the Eastern, they believe there is one reality. On the Western side, human life is often valued above other life, right? As Christians, we know that human life is very important to us. On the Eastern side, all life may be viewed as sacred. So I'm sure you've heard, like for instance, they view in India cows as sacred, right? So I'm sure you've heard that. And this is kind of the philosophy behind that perspective. Western, the divine is apart from material, the material plane that we live in, and exists separately from it. On the Eastern side, the divine is a part of creation and found everywhere in it. On the Western side, the journey of mankind is linear. And on the Eastern side, the journey of mankind is cyclical. And that kind of explains the reincarnation aspect to Eastern philosophy. A lot of the Eastern religions believe in reincarnation, whereas we as Christians, we do not. We point to the Bible where it claims, or it says that, man is given one life to live, right? And then we believe in the afterlife. Now, on the other side, Western, let's see, the goal for us is to deal with the problem of sin and immorality and being reunited with God. On the Eastern side, the goal is to deal with the problem of ignorance and to achieve enlightenment. You hear a lot about this enlightenment that people are talking about in our society lately, and so that's where it comes from. All right, so let me get into the narration part. Both the Eastern and Western virtue ethics philosophies aimed at establishing social order for business and family relationships and interactions. Although both philosophies are quite different in nature, there are some possible elements that can be universally applied in an ethical business context when these two mindsets interact. Both Confucius and Aristotle constructed ethical systems based upon virtue, with Confucius's framework seeking harmony and Aristotle's aim involving happiness. Each sought to solve a particular problem. For example, Confucius was seeking to create a system reflecting a heavenly order on earth by settling the soul of the Chinese people in a particular manner. In Aristotle's framework, happiness consists of a pursuit in truth-seeking. Thus, a stable, centered person with the ability to overcome weak character or misfortune is required. Each system relied on reasoned means to achieve reasoned ends. In conclusion, and of course, remember, this is just the part one. We'll carry on with part two afterwards. Let me ask you these questions. What are similarities and differences between Eastern and Western philosophies? And then another important question, can you explain why we as Christians believe our Western Christian philosophy is so important to us, right? So our Christian philosophy, rooted in Western philosophy. If you're interested in studying more about this, you might want to take some additional classes in Western philosophy, Christian philosophy, and, our own Christian philosophy, and why we're so different from Eastern philosophies. There's a lot there. There's a lot to know about, but hopefully, this particular talk and the one that comes after it might interest you in engaging more in these topics. Okay, so that is the end of this short talk. There's the reference page. I want to thank you so much for having the desire to raise your leadership competencies. God bless you. Goodbye. Have a great day.